On this trip to get to my spot in Nebraska, I am driving, kind of cutting across the corner of Iowa and then into the heart of Nebraska. You know, you might ask, why am I traveling like this to hunt squirrels? I mean, we have squirrels here in Minnesota. And, I mean, one thing is the season. That's obvious. I mean, our season starts later, so I couldn't go right now if I wanted to. But the other thing is that I just like kind of the adventure of going other places. I mean, it's fun. I'm going on a bit of a road trip. It'll take me about 5.5, 6 hours to drive there. I'm going to go to an area I don't know, so I get to explore a bit more. I'm going to put up my tent and make a real comfortable small game camp, which I think is something that not enough people do that you should think about. I mean, this is a great way to spend 3 or 4 days hunting, is to set up a tent camp. But it's just going to be a blast.
Was that the one with the rainstorm or with the headwind?
Yeah, I think I was using the sniper. If you're wondering why I do it, that's the reason. I mean, it's convenient, it's fun, adventure. It's just kind of a cool way to do it.
They have both campsites and dispersed camping at this wildlife management area. I found a site that had a table and a grill. This is the camp setup I use. It's based on a 6-man tent that's just big enough for me. I've got this gear down. My setup time is under 15 minutes. It's not much, but it's comfortable. I've got a bed, a chair, a table, and a place to hang my clothes. I'm set. Well, I'm out here. It's opening weekend on in Nebraska squirrel season. They've got an early season, starts beginning of August. But saw a few turkey and seen a few squirrels, but it's tough. So much foliage on the trees, and squirrels are staying up high for the most part. Once in a while they'll come down, but I've only had a couple shots and connected with one. You'll see that a little bit later. Anyway, I'm out here. I'm trying to get every state in, and I found this place online. I want to come back and show you how I found it because I think it's pretty interesting. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. I'm trying to do squirrel hunts in many states as I can this season, and there's an early season in Nebraska. So I got here last night, and the weather's kind of plus minus. It's been tough. So out here today, I saw a few squirrels. I only had a couple shot opportunities, and I blew one of them. So I got this guy with the headshot, and now I'm trying to decide: do I want to spend another night out here and try to get out this again tomorrow, see if I can get a few more squirrels before I leave, or do I take this as my squirrel in Nebraska and move on? I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see. But I'm working for it. It's not easy hunting this time of year. A lot of leaves up in the trees, wind's blowing. Problem is, normally when I go out into a place when there's still a lot of foliage up, I really go around looking for cuttings, and I look for a lot of cuttings down on the ground. There's not much of that right now. And then there's a breeze blowing through, so when I look up in the canopies, normally I look to see branches shaking, and with these gusting winds, it's just randomly shaking all over the place. So they've been really hard. So what I blew today, the shot I blew today, it was I'd seen a squirrel up in the tree, and I was trying to get around to get a shot, and I was there about 15 minutes, and I just could not get a line on the squirrel. And I heard barking behind me. I turned, there was a squirrel about 25, 30 yards behind looking at me, and I tried to slowly turn around, but he took off before I could get set up for the shot. Anyway, I'm having a good time. Even though I'm not having a lot of success, I'm having a good time. I'm out here with the Brocock Bant, the gun I chose this time. I'm using the ATN 5x20 4K scope. I'm using it in daytime mode, obviously, but I'm using it for the video recording capabilities. Doing a little comparison between this and some of the other cameras that I have. At any rate, so here I am. I've got my squirrel in Nebraska, and maybe I'll get more, but at any rate, I got one here. So I think the next state's probably going to be Michigan.
I want to explain how I got this hunt started. The first thing I did was to go on Nebraska's Game and Parks website. Most states have a downloadable regulations booklet, and I keep them on my iPad. I went straight to the seasons as I was looking for an early start date. While I was at it, I looked for seasons for rabbit and predators because I'm interested in hunting them too. I checked on the licensing requirements and the cost for a non-resident to hunt small game in Nebraska. The cost was $97 for the license and $10 for a fee for habitat stamp. As I mentioned, I plan not only to hunt squirrel, but rabbit and predators here as well. I then looked at the published list of wildlife management areas. They're also called WMAs. After this, I did a map search to see where they were located. I narrowed it down by location and then did searches looking for reviews of hunters and wildlife managers. Once an area was picked out, I looked at the boundaries, the access, and the general lay of the land. Once I had a location narrowed down, I looked at route planning, distances, and if there were places to camp in the area. I looked for access roads, all that type of information. Then in Google Maps, I looked at vegetation and figured out where to hunt. After a while, you can get pretty good at finding out where, for instance, mass-producing trees are. I also called a local bait shop. I got a number online, and I talked to a warden to get some local expertise. So all these things together let me go into an area I'd never been to before and have a pretty good idea where to start hunting.